Good evening, meteorologist Bob Acanfrio with today's tropical update for Monday, August 6, 2012. Well, we continue to watch Tropical Storm Ernesto today. Almost tried to become a hurricane earlier. Looked like it was on its way this afternoon from late morning. Overnight last night really started to get its act together right through the morning. And boy, it looked like we were going to get there, and all of a sudden, he doesn't want to get there. I'll show you that in a moment here. But 5 p.m. advisory, maximum sustained wind 65, movement west-northwest at 12. So here we are. Here's Ernesto. Kind of made a little jump to the northeast with the center last night as it was starting to get itself together. Sometimes these storms do that. As the convection was starting to get back around the center, made a little bit of a center jump, and that took it away from running into Honduras here. So lucky for them, they will not be bearing the brunt of Ernesto. The bad news is that put the Yucatan here right back into play. It looks like with the official forecast track and the way it's going, it looks like it's going to make landfall somewhere near Chetumal here, maybe a little north of Chetumal. It'll really depend on the organization here in the next 24 to 48 hours here. Looks like landfall will be sometime Tuesday. It's looking like probably Tuesday night here. So sometime later tomorrow night we should have landfall. So I'll have to see how the organization goes. But it's going to get near Chetumal. Forecast to become a hurricane. We'll have to see about that. Boy, looking at it now in the last like 3 to 4 hours, you're wondering if this thing ever will become a hurricane. But man, conditions are still ripe here for it to become a hurricane before landfall. Move across the Yucatan, and then this area is always very ripe for rapidly intensifying storms. We've seen that a lot way deep here in the Gulf of Mexico, Bay of Campeche here, and I wouldn't be surprised again if it could stay intact to possibly become a hurricane again before landfall. Again, the second landfall probably looking like near Veracruz, Mexico here somewhere. Again, it'll depend on how far south he wants to come. The Euro model has it pretty far deep south here. This is pretty much close to what the GFS is showing. There are a few little more models a little north of there. At any event, definitely not a threat to the United States at this time, and it'll never be a threat to the United States. So good news for us in the U.S. We dodge another bullet. Bad news for this area. Boy, they seem to always attract the hurricanes, don't they, year after year? This Belize, Chetumal area, it's like a hurricane magnet. And you can see that in the red, these are the hurricane warnings. If you're going down to Cancun, anybody traveling down there this time of year, you guys are under a tropical storm watch only. Looks like Ernesto will pass well south of there. So if you do have travel plans, I would keep them, go down, and enjoy yourselves. All right. Visible satellite here, and you could see we had almost a little pinhole eye here forming earlier, late this morning, and then you can see even in the visible, it kind of looks like everything's kind of collapsing again. It's not as tight as it was here, and you can see the last 5 or 6 hours or so. I mean, still great banding. But you almost can see the tightening of it, and then all of a sudden it looks like, wow, it's not tightening anymore. It almost looks like it's fanning out again, kind of falling apart in a way. Dry air, definitely has to be the dry air. You almost could see some of these arc clouds shooting out here again from Ernesto, and there's still some dry air still bothering this storm. It's amazing. Can't blame it on the trade winds this time, can we? So it must be the dry air, and really, again, just wreaking havoc on this storm. And we'll see if it can get itself together before it finally makes landfall sometime late tomorrow night, early Wednesday morning, somewhere in that time frame. More than likely the overnight of Tuesday night, so Tuesday night, Wednesday morning time frame. And if we put the color on it, you could easily see how this thing's starting to collapse again. You saw deep convection near the center, and then look at this. Poof, there it goes. It's gone again. What the heck's happening, right? Just when we thought we were going to get ourselves a hurricane, kind of falling apart again. And again, it has to be that dry air because shear is awful light around this system right now. Now if we look at the water vapor loop, you can see here's that upper level low, And we've watched this thing slowly move to the west, and it's still far enough away from Ernesto. And usually this is a prime area for these things to rapidly intensify when you're on the right side or the east side of these upper level systems. You can see the beautiful upper level high over this system fanning out the clouds. Usually this is a classic area. We also have another upper low to its northeast here, which would make a beautiful outflow channel right here. It's all in a perfect spot for something to really start cranking up, but yet again, it must be the dry air just getting into the system, and just, you see, cold cloud tops and then poof, nothing. So again, we'll have to see it. You know, all things say it's going to become a hurricane, but it's really a wait and see at this point. And again, just to reiterate that, you can see very light winds, 5 knots near the center right now. Upper low here, and then we have this other big upper trough here, but it's in that little sweet spot here that normally you would get a rapidly intensifying system, but not yet, at least right now for Ernesto. Models, again, in very good agreement. The poor GFDL just constantly wants to bring this thing north. You remember a few days ago, Ernesto should have been up here, according to the GFDL, and I kept saying, that's crazy. Well, yeah, it was. So still the northerness, so you got to cut this out here. Consensus is very good. This system's going to stay deep down into the Gulf. Again, whether it moves near Veracruz for its second landfall, or just to the north, or just to the south, but it's going to be somewhere in that spot. And first landfall is going to be near Veracruz, possibly just to the north of Veracruz, but somewhere right in there will be its first landfall. What else do we have out there? Now that Ernesto's gone, oh, let's go back to the water vapor real quick here. What's this out here? Well, that used to be Florence. Florence is gone. Florence is poof. Dry air killed it. Big shear's going to doubly kill it. It's over with. We're done talking about Florence. What else is out there? We had another tropical wave come off. That's not going to do much. Doesn't look like it really has any good low pressure with it. This is the one we're going to be watching next. This looks like this one will come off probably around that Friday towards the end of the week here. This will be the next one to watch because we have the GFS here starting to spin this guy up come Saturday morning. So again, that'll be our next one to watch. So after Ernesto, probably have a little lull here until the next wave comes off Africa towards the weekend, and we'll see if that will end up developing. That's it for this evening. I hope you all had a great first start of the work week here on Monday, and we'll see you all tomorrow.